You know this scene. You've lived it dozens, maybe hundreds of times. It starts with a simple fact. Something happened. She said something cruel. She missed an important commitment. She spent money meant for the bills. Or she told a lie that you caught. The evidence is right there in front of you. It's tangible. It's undeniable. You take a deep breath, rehearse your words so you don't sound aggressive, and start the conversation. You're looking for clarity. You're looking for a resolution. But mostly, you're looking for that small human moment of repair, an apology. But what happens next defies all laws of logic and healthy human communication. In a matter of minutes, the original topic, her mistake, evaporates. Suddenly, you're arguing about your tone of voice. You're digging up something you supposedly did 3 years ago. She's crying, talking about how much she sacrifices for you, how hard her life is, and how ungrateful or insensitive you are for bringing this up right now. The world spins, the ground disappears beneath your feet, and at the end of this exhausting conversation, which lasted for hours and drained all your vital energy, the unthinkable happens. You are the one apologizing. You walk out of the room stunned, your head feeling heavy, wondering how that happened. Reality was distorted right in front of you, and the message that gets burned into your subconscious is clear and terrifying. It's never her fault. Even when she's holding the smoking gun, it's the person who got shot who is to blame. In this video, we're going to stop trying to win that argument. We're going to do something much more powerful. We're going to understand the mind behind this reversal. You will finally understand why she is psychologically incapable of saying "I was wrong," and how she uses your own empathy to turn you into the villain of her story. My name is Lauren Mitchell. My purpose with this channel is to show you that the problem was never you, and more importantly, that you are not alone. Let's anchor this in your daily reality, because it's important for you to feel that you aren't crazy. What happens in these interactions isn't a misunderstanding. It's a highly sophisticated defense system operating in real time. Imagine you confront a narcissistic mother about a disparaging comment she made about your body in front of other people. Or maybe you're confronting a narcissistic friend or partner about a betrayal of trust. A neurotypical, healthy person would feel a pang of shame. They would think, "Wow, I hurt them. I shouldn't have done that." The focus would be on the pain they caused you. But with a narcissistic woman, the focus never leaves herself. The moment you point out the mistake, her brain doesn't process, "I hurt someone." Her brain processes, "I am being attacked." And when someone feels under a life or death attack, the reaction isn't empathy, it's war. You watch the change in her eyes. What we call word salad begins. She starts talking fast, mixing unrelated topics. You say, "I criticized you?" Funny you'd say that. Especially you who never calls me, who abandoned me. I do everything for you. I dress poorly so you can dress well, and this is how you repay me. With accusations. Notice the move. She didn't deny the comment about your body. She ignored the comment and created 3 new problems. You don't call, you abandoned her, and she is a martyr. If you take the bait and start defending yourself saying, "I do call, I called yesterday," you've lost. Her original mistake has been buried. Now you are in her courtroom, defending your own goodness. This tactic creates a brutal cognitive dissonance in you. Your eyes saw one thing, your ears heard another, but the person you're supposed to trust is telling you, with total conviction, that reality is different. This is where your doubt is born. Am I being too sensitive? Did I get it wrong? No, you didn't get it wrong. What you are witnessing is a woman who would rather destroy your perception of reality than admit to a tiny flaw. But why? What exists inside her that makes admitting fault so threatening? To understand the narcissistic woman, you need to understand her relationship with shame. For most of us, shame is an uncomfortable but fleeting emotion. It serves as a moral compass. If we mess up, we feel shame. We apologize, we fix the mistake, and the shame goes away. We learn and we grow. For the narcissist, shame isn't an emotion. It's an existential threat. At the core of the narcissistic personality, there is a deep void, a wound of worthlessness and inadequacy that never healed. To survive this feeling of being less than, she built a false self, a mask of perfection, superiority, goodness, or holiness. When you say, "You were wrong," you aren't just pointing out a behavior. To her, you are taking a sledgehammer to the glass structure that holds up her entire existence. Admitting a mistake, no matter how small, is opening the door to that unbearable shame she has spent her whole life running from. In her mind, There is a binary equation. Either she is perfect or she is worthless trash. There is no middle ground. There is no such thing as a good person who makes mistakes. If she admits a mistake, she falls into the trash category, and that is psychologically soul-crushing. This is why the reaction is so disproportionate. You ask her to wash the dishes she left in the sink, and she reacts as if you spat in her face, because to her, the criticism pierces the armor. This explains the selective amnesia. Have you noticed how she doesn't remember the cruel things she did, but remembers with cinematic detail every time you displeased her? This isn't just conscious lying, though sometimes it is. It's an ego protection mechanism. Her brain literally rewrites history to protect her from shame. If she did something bad, her mind distorts the fact until it becomes justifiable, or until it never existed at all. She can't say sorry, because in her internal world, apologizing is a humiliating submission. It's admitting defeat, and the narcissist can never lose. Here we enter territory where the narcissistic woman often differs from the narcissistic man, and where she is incredibly efficient at flipping the story. While male narcissism often manifests through obvious grandiosity and aggressive intimidation, the narcissistic woman frequently masters the art of weaponized victimhood. She uses fragility, sacrifice, and wounded femininity as both a shield and a sword. This is the pillar that confuses victims the most, especially daughters of narcissistic mothers. How can you blame someone who seems to suffer so much? Someone who gave her life for you? When cornered, the narcissistic woman activates martyr mode. You're right. I'm a horrible mother. I should just die and leave. You all in peace. Nobody cares about me anyway. This isn't remorse. This is high-level passive-aggressive manipulation. By throwing herself on the floor, metaphorically or literally, sobbing uncontrollably, or threatening to get sick, she hijacks your empathy. She forces you out of the accuser position and into the caregiver position. Suddenly, you're no longer demanding accountability. You're consoling the person who hurt you. You're saying, "No, Mom, it's not that. You're a good mother. Calm down. Don't cry." In that moment, she won. The focus shifted from her mistake to her suffering. And worse, you validated her narrative that you are the cruel aggressor who made the poor mother, wife, friend cry. She uses social stereotypes to her advantage. Society views women, especially mothers, as inherently kind and self-sacrificing. She knows this. She performs this role for the public. To the neighbors, she's a saint. To you, behind closed doors, she's the executioner. And when you try to expose this, she uses her public reputation against you. Who is going to believe you? Everyone knows how much I dedicate myself. This reversal is devastating because it isolates the victim. You start to feel like you're the only evil person in the world who can't see her goodness. We've reached the deepest and most toxic level of the reversal: pure projection. Projection is a defense mechanism where a person attributes their own unacceptable feelings, impulses, or flaws to someone else. The narcissistic woman uses you as an emotional dumping ground. Everything she hates about herself, she pastes onto you. Is she envious? She will accuse you of being jealous of her success. Is she unfaithful, physically or emotionally? She will monitor your phone and accuse you of cheating. Is she aggressive? She will subtly provoke you for hours, poking at your weak spots, until you explode in anger. And the moment you shout, she points her finger and says, "Look at how unbalanced you are. You need help." This is what we call reactive abuse. She creates chaos so that you react, and then uses your reaction as proof that you are the problem. This tactic has a dual purpose. First, it relieves her internal burden. She gets rid of the dirt by throwing it on you. Second, it destabilizes you to the point where you lose credibility. If you are screaming and crying, and she is calm and cold, who looks like the crazy one in the story, she rewrites reality in real time. She tells the story of the fight to others, omitting everything she did to provoke it and reporting only your reaction. Over time, you start to accept these projections. You start to believe that you are, in fact, envious, difficult, ungrateful, or crazy. You internalize her pathology. This isn't just manipulation, it's psychological colonization. She occupies your mind with her version of who you are, until you no longer know who you actually are. Understanding this hurts. It hurts to realize that the person you sought love and validation from is playing a game where you are always the piece to be sacrificed. But this pain is the price of your liberation. The shift happens when you stop waiting for her to change. When you stop taking the courtroom to her living room expecting a fair verdict. She is the judge of that court. She is the jury, and the law is her mood. You will never be exonerated there. Your freedom begins when you stop explaining. You don't need to prove to her that you aren't crazy. You don't need to make her admit she was wrong for the mistake to be real. Reality doesn't need her signature to be true. When she starts flipping the blame, when she starts crying crocodile tears, or when she accuses you of her own flaws, you aren't going to desperately defend yourself anymore. You will look at it with the clinical eye of someone who has cracked the code. You will think, there's the shame allergy, there's the projection. You will stand firm in your truth, not with shouting, but with the silence of someone who knows who they are. Let her keep her narrative. You keep your sanity. Her power over you depended on your confusion. Now that you see the gears turning, the magic is over. The mirror is broken, and you are finally free to walk away from the shards without looking back. Feel free to leave your story, your vent, or even a suggestion for a future video in the comments below. Access the link in the description to check out my ebook and the benefits of being a member of this channel. Click on the suggested video on the screen to stay with me, and remember, you are light. Never forget to shine.